Good morning. Hiya, everybody. Some people I've already met. What are you doing filming? Where's I going to go?
YouTube.
Oh, don't. Because I'm watching cringe. How are you all? Good? Okay. Are you alright there in the back? You sure you look like you need a bit of cream on that? You sure?
More to the point, how are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. Very good. Very good. Very good. I saw Craig and Doug a couple of weeks ago, and I said that, but I hadn't seen them in so long. So that was great. I think we were in Bristol, in a big football rugby arena. So there's pictures on Facebook, the Creed Facebook, of me and Doug and Craigie, which is nice. And I saw Bobby the week before, and I hadn't seen him for ages. And Hattie and Danny I see all the time, so he doesn't count. This is just stop commenting. Put the two of them together. Has anybody got any questions? Justin, do you want a question?
I've got questions
Go and ask
ready,
your questions.
but let's open up to your fan base first. Who's got a question? Anyone? There we go.
Crime Traveller was one of my favourite series from the late 90s. What's your memories?
Oh, it was commissioned for a second series, and Michael and I were signed the contracts and everything, so I don't really know what happened there. And I'd worked for the production company before doing something for America called Jules, which was one of those Danielle Steele novels. I don't know of them. And I was pretty straight out of drama school, and I just remember having £300,000 worth of diamonds around my neck and security guards having to go to the toilet with me. I don't know what they thought I was going to do, but Crime Chat. So I worked with them, the company before, so I got the job pretty much from working with them. And it was Anthony Horowitz, who I'd known of, and I'd read his books, and he's such an amazing writer that he writes for children. And he can do any genre, as far as I can see. And every 2 weeks we used to do a read-through for the new script and sit around this big table, and I would sit right opposite Anthony Horowitz and just be like, but he wrote it, and it was such a comfort. It wasn't too full on, it wasn't too gritty. I think they were trying to get the balance, Carnival Films, of not making it too gory or anything like that. So, and sort of between not reality. So we had to wear the same clothes. If you probably noticed that Slade always wore that orange jacket, and I always wore a red jacket. And we weren't allowed to wear coats or anything like that. And there's some of the outtakes. Me and Mike, we did, because we had the outside and it was snowing. I remember it was really cold, and just slipping over. But we weren't allowed to. I don't understand the thought behind that actually. But we were had to wear the same clothes every day in every episode. But it was a really, really fun thing. And one of my biggest memories is going into my, you get a Winnebago thing, because that was going to be, and I remember the ADC, that's going to be your home for the next 3 months. And so I had this big trailer, which was amazing, and just seeing a picture of Sean Bean in Sharp, a picture of him on it, because it was his trailer. And I was like, oh my God. Because there was a Polaroid of him. Mind you, who puts a Polaroid of yourself in your trailer, may I ask you? But that was very, very cool. Something called 10%ers, which Ed and Doug, Ed was directing and Doug had written. And they recorded my audition, which I think is available. And I didn't get the part, and I was going to America anyway, because I had 2 programs out at the same time, one for NBC and one for ABC. So I went to America, and I had an agent there anyway. My dad used to live there, so I lived there on and off for a couple of years. And I remember, because the auditions I had were always in American, so for about a year and a half, I only spoke with an American accent, which is why I've got this kind of twang, because I can't get, it's so ingrained in me. And so I went to there, and when I came back, it all happened so quickly. I got offered the part. My agent just said, because they'd remembered me from 10%ers audition, just shows you how these things work. And I was sent then all the videos back then, all the books, a bottle of champagne and a box of chocolates, and I ate the chocolates and drank the champagne all in one go, and watched all the videos. And I'd never binged. I don't know if people did binge watching them because it wasn't the sort of thing on TV. But I had all the videos and I watched them back to back. And I think I stayed up for about a day and a half just watching. And I read all the books. And I'm a really bad reader. If I read something, I have to read the paragraph about 4 times before it actually retains inside my brain. That'd be the neurodivergent side of me. But I just devoured them. And I'd walk around in my pocket and sit down on benches just to read a bit more. And I've never been like that. So it was just I have ADHD, so it's probably the hyperfixation bit, but I was absolutely obsessed. So although I wasn't that familiar with beforehand, except seeing pictures of Craig with his dreadlocks, I was quite calm at the beginning. And then by the time I got on set, I was absolutely terrified because these people were like my family, because I'd watched it so much. Just got into that whole thing. Yeah, that's how I got the part. But and then I had 7 inches cut off my hair with a razor blade. And I dyed my eyebrows. I'd always dyed my hair funny colours, not to enhance my looks, you understand, just to have it be a bit edgy. It was either red or orange, and so I'd come back from America and I dyed my hair orange. And so then I got the part, decided to have something called a Rachel cut, which was Friends. I'd gone to my local hairdresser and they said, I can do a Rachel cut, because everybody was doing Rachel cuts at the time. And she did it with a razor blade. So 7 inches cut off my hair with a razor blade. And then I decided to dye it black. And my eyebrows black. Everything black. And so that's how Series 7 was born. No, I'm rubbish at practical jokes because I can't do anything like that because then I feel really guilty and then I'll cry. I think not practical jokes necessarily. I mean, I was the butt of a lot of jokes all the time, every day. But I can't do practical jokes because I just feel, I'm so rubbish at it. I will just tell people, it's like presents and stuff like that. You have to wait till Christmas. Okay, do you want to know? I'm just so crap at secrets and jokes, and then I just feel really guilty. No, I can't do it. I think the others could. No, I don't think they did. They just made me laugh all the time. They just teased me all the time. All the time.
Can't think why.
I was like a shiny new toy. Girl. It was really, really like that.
So Chris Barry is renowned for his voices and his impersonations. Obviously his days on Spitting Image, things like that.
No, I can't do any voices, or if that's what you're going to ask.
No, I wasn't. I was going to say memories of working with Chris, because I know he was renowned for doing silly voices during outtakes and things like that. Does anything jump out?
I mean, it's difficult because Danny was always the one who was talking. Danny would just cut as soon as it'd be cut. Robert would, and I say this, Bobby would be moaning, not for no reason, because he was usually really hot, because he's got a mask on for so long, and that's really unpleasant. And I used to see him walking around back, in our dressing rooms and down the hallway, and he couldn't eat, so he had to drink protein drinks through a straw all day long, and he'd just his costume has a zip, so he'd unzip it, all the metal, the silver stuff, and he'd just be walking around with this top half hanging down and just a little white vest and just drinking a straw, looking really sad. And he wanted to smoke. He smoked back then. He wanted to smoke because he couldn't smoke because he'd just go combust. But Chris, I remember. And Danny used to monopolise the whole thing. And Craig would occasionally just come out with a really acerbic one-liner that would just absolutely kill everybody. Chris, I just remember, Chris used to have these collect fancy cars, really beautiful cars. And I remember going to rehearsals in Shepperton and driving back on the motorway. And I had a Polo, a little Polo. And Chris had his Porsche, which is a pretty awesome car. And this is so typical Chris, sorry Chris. But I remember driving, I mean, I like to drive, and I used to drive quite fast, and I did advanced driving and stuff like that, because I love all that. But I remember driving and passing this Porsche, which was going about 20 miles an hour, and you could see his briefcase sitting beside him in the passenger seat, and just driving like this, and me zooming past him and thinking, that is so Chris, the brief is so Rimmer. Driving a Porsche, which can go fast, at 20 miles an hour, both, 10 past, 10 to, hands here, a briefcase on the passenger seat, straight ahead. That just made me like that. That's my memory. It's an awful memory, I'm sorry, but that was one of my memories of Chris.
I did have a go at him after he sold the E-Type.
Yeah.
He got rid of his E-Type Jag, and I'm sort of like, why?
Well, he's not driving them properly for a start. I mean, you want to drive fast in that, but the fact it was just so wrong.
Guys, we've got time for one more question. Go on then, sir, at the back.
You have to speak now. How was the experience with normal wisdom in Double A?
Oh my gosh. Oh well, I haven't been asked that for a long time. That was extraordinary because I grew up with old movies. My dad was an old movie buff. So, I mean, I was having 17 years, I was the oddest teenager. 17 years old, I was in love with like John Barrymore, all these people that have been dead and only in black and white. I had no idea about like 80s films and stuff like that. I just lived with Basil Rathbone and things like that. And so, yeah, I knew about Norman Wisdom because I used to watch his pratfall, And it was so weird. Because, I mean, the first time I met him, he said, actually, this was quite good practice for Red Dwarf. It was. But he used to do, the first thing he said, because I was about 19, and he was much older, and he said, I should be your grandfather, not your father, because he was playing my dad. But he used to do these kind of pratfalls and stuff just before a take. And I'd never come across that, and I found that really difficult, because I'd be just... Maybe because the way my brain works, I'm only able to focus on one thing at a time. And so I would be focusing on him and doing his thing. And I would be laughing. And this is what happened at the beginning of Red Dwarf too. So I would end up laughing. And as soon as it was action, he would be like straight into character. The boys from Red Dwarf would be straight into character. And I would be left like still like, and then cut. And so I would get bollocking for being so unprofessional. So I remember that was a real lesson, but he was lovely. I mean, I was totally in awe, actually, because, and I saw him in colour. So that was pretty amazing for me. Strange casting, but it was, and William Catt, who I know was in something, I can't remember what he was in, and going shopping round Oxford Street with the wardrobe mistress with William Catt, it was just surreal. Oh God, I can't remember. Huh? Simon Ward, absolutely, Simon Ward, and Bernard Hill. So Bernard Hill, that was amazing because he was he was a brilliant actor. Yeah. So that was an experience. Yeah, and I was in a helicopter. Oh, there was a helicopter. And for some reason, I was in my underwear. What the hell? And I was super young, so it was Thank you for that question. It's just a trip down memory lane. And I had to go underwater. That's right. I had to walk into this murky pond. I don't know if there were any health and safety checks. There wasn't anybody around. It's like, Chloe, you've got to walk into that and go underwater. Now, I'm not big on water. I'm very frightened of water. I can swim and everything like that, but I really don't like it. It's just like, as soon as I go underwater, I don't know how to breathe. I don't breathe, but you can't breathe. But that immediately panics me and everything shuts down. So that was absolutely terrifying for me. So I did it, but I was only underwater for a split second. They had enough just to cut it through, but that was really, really frightening. But again, I dyed my hair black, my eyebrows black. Actually, it wasn't black. It was, what was it? It was mahogany nut or something. I think it was called mahogany nut. No, I can't remember what it's called. Something quite exotic. Yeah, it was black. Huh? It was a scenic shot. It was. I'm glad you enjoyed it. I hated that experience. It was terrifying, and it was dark, and it was night, and it was cold because it was winter. Yeah. But I was a professional. Solid.
That was pretty painless. You're at the end. You can run away, but before you do,
Yeah.
ladies and gentlemen, would you please put your hands together for Chloe Annett?
Thank you so much.